So a Black-owned business to support called Body Crystals Co. I love their body souffles. They are my favorite thing to moisturize with. I refuse to use anything else at this point. They are really nourishing for my skin, and they make the biggest difference I've ever seen. They smell amazing, and the texture on the product is really light and fluffy, and it's full of nourishing butters and oils, all natural ingredients, guys, and a little goes a long way. Look at how it just sinks into my skin. I assure you, that shoulder felt amazing. It doesn't leave a greasy feeling at all, and it gives a nice, deep, penetrating moisture, and it lasts a long time. It's good for the ashiest of ankles, I promise. And you can use it on your face and your hair. This stuff is really multifunctional. Go show her some love. All right, power to the people.
A voice of reason, a voice of purpose, to a generation in need. Welcome to PickEd Speaks. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of PickEd Speaks, where Black excellence speaks for itself. I am your host, DeAndre Pickett, and it is good to see each and every one of you. It's been a minute. We've had some off time, and we're actually only a few episodes away from our first season ending. And so, please make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets, and you join us on Monday, November 2nd. 2020 for our final episode of this season. And then we'll be back with you after the election in January, after the inauguration in January. So please make sure you're joining us. Tonight is so special to me and so exciting because I have two phenomenal women who I just wish that you all were able to be a part of our conversation before we came on live, because we had a ball, and I am looking forward to having a great discussion with them. Tonight, we know we are having our breast cancer awareness special. We're calling it Speak Life, the Speak Life edition. And so I'm so excited to have two amazing women, a powerhouse in media and television, as well as a former state representative and a powerhouse in the political and religious sector. I would like to bring to this show, to welcome to PickEd Speaks, none other than Jaquita Williams and Reverend D. Dawkins. Hey, how are you, ladies?
We're wonderful. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Listen, as I was telling the people, I wish that they could have been a part of the discussion right before we came on, because we were having a ball already, which lets me know that it was about to be an amazing show. And so for those individuals who are not familiar with you and your body of work, we just want to open the floor to allow you the ability to introduce yourselves and just talk about who you are and what you do. So I'm going to start I'm going to go to the bottom and go up. I'm going to start with D. Dawkins Hagley.
Okay, well, great. I'm so glad to be here with you. It's always great to be with Jaquita Williams, and especially with you, picking my little brother. And so, anytime you're with a warrior and someone who is an educator and loves the young people, it's always a great experience. Okay, and so I am D. Dawkins Hagler, and I am a 5-year breast cancer survivor. Yay! And it means so much, to be in the land of the living, honey. I always say it's better to be on this side of the dirt, than to be 6 feet under. And so I have been a politician for quite a while, but I've been a preacher even longer. Got called to the ministry. Well, this is my 20th year being ordained in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and a lot of people don't realize that. So I've been at this a minute. 4 children, 2 grandchildren, married to my college sweetheart, the Colonel, David Hagler Jr., which I still at home, I call him the General, but it's the Colonel. And so I'm glad to have that BMW, honey. When I say BMW, I mean black man working, baby. I'm glad to have that. Okay, understand? So he's allowed me to be everything that I am, and so I'm so glad to say that. So that's where I am, and I'm gonna stop.
All right. And then, of course, I have to show some love too. So every time I hit her up on Facebook, I say, "You better do it, Auntie. You better do it." I mean, I don't care every picture she posts. I promise y'all, I had the hardest time choosing what picture I was going to choose for her because she was out there slaying in these photos. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go show y'all the pictures probably on the break. I'm going to show y'all these pictures. I mean, because she had it laid out here. She had. I said, listen.
She was fierce, honey.
Had it together. That is none other than the Miss Jaquita Williams. At this time, if you would greet the people and let them know who you are.
Well, I'm Jaquita Williams, and I am just grateful to be here as well. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yes,
okay, great. I'm happy to be here. Actually, those pictures that you're talking about, those were taken by the one and only Derek Blanks. So, of course, I had to do a little something special for him. But I am a breast cancer survivor, as you know. I'm a warrior. I'm a thriver. I've been surviving for 13 years, and I am so grateful for it. I can't say that I have a BMW like my sis D says. But we are breast friends in the struggle, and more just like her. Every day is a good day. Even on my worst day, it's a good day because I'm still here. And I realize on a journey like breast cancer, God trusts me and people like D and people who are watching with assignment. Because I know a lot of people may think, oh, I want to be like you. I want to do what you've done. However, sometimes if you look into somebody's life and you see the road that you have to take in order to be like them, don't really know if you want to take that road or the road that you're saying that you want to be on. But I am grateful to be here with you, my friend, and let's get to it.
Yes, and please know, for all of you all who are watching, I'm going to do 2 disclaimers in advance. I want to apologize if, in essence, that you have any issues, if you see any lag or anything else. Unfortunately, I am still on location, and so I am currently using I'm currently on location. So I am currently using the Wi-Fi of the hotel. So please know, I would normally be connected, plugged into you all, but unfortunately, you may get a lag or 2. So I apologize for that. The second thing is I have to apologize for the fact that we believe in having fun. So just know that you may hear just some outrageous and outlandish love pass through these calls through this today. So please know that we apologize in advance that we might forget that y'all even here because we may even have this conversation by ourselves. But again, it is grateful. I'm just grateful to have these ladies joining me. And what makes it even so special, one thing people know about me is I love celebrating this particular month for a number of reasons. One, because of the fact that of the significance of it all. But it's one of those moments where normally during this month, I would normally shave my head for the whole month of October. I've done it for quite some time. I've always done it because of the fact that though I'm not a breast cancer survivor, I'm a 3-time colon cancer survivor. And so this has always been something that, and this has always been something important to me because of the fact that we have to bring awareness, particularly within our community, and making sure that people understand that there are stories, there are people who are living still here to tell the stories. And that's why I love to bring together. And so today I'm asking that each and every one of you who are watching with us today begin to speak those names, begin to speak the names of those individuals who have won, who have survived it, and begin to say their names. But also I want you to speak those names of those who still got their healing, but got it on the other side. And so I still want you to speak their names as well. So that's what this today is about. We're about celebrating us and letting the world know that we are still fighters, whether we won the battle on this side or where we won the battle on the other. We are still conquerors and warriors. And we're going to talk about that. But I want to open up the discussion and talk about your finding out. What's interesting is one of the people on this call, on this live tonight, I actually was there to have the conversation. This particular individual came and sat me down and said, "Oh yeah, I have breast cancer." Excuse me, what? Huh? You're just gonna just tell me that like that? But to see her journey, and so I actually want to start with D and just recollect about when you found out and what the journey what in your mind was the journey, how you felt the journey was gonna what that journey was gonna look like for you.
Okay, so that's a good question. But first of all, let me talk about you being on location. That lighting is pretty good in Jacksonville. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
so we're not gonna do that today on the screen.
I'm just saying.
We're not gonna.
I'm just saying. I just want to make notice of that.
Know that I may or may not have come prepped with my lighting.
I know, because I just wanted to point that out because I peeped that out. I see the lighting. Okay. So anyway,
see what I mean?
I have to tell him because he know I'm still waiting on him to get me that lighting for this house. You see, I'm not as lit as him, so I needed to start off like that. I can do you like that because I'm telling the truth. Chef set us free. So anyway. It was in 2015. I was in the Georgia General Assembly, and what happened was I had went to a doctor's appointment. They told me I needed to come back, and then I came back, got a biopsy, and they told me. So in the first few weeks, I didn't tell anyone outside of family. And then we were getting ready to have our annual huge dinner that the Black Caucus has every year. And that year I was the chair of the Black Caucus. So I'd already been the chair of the Black Caucus for 3 years. And this was our third dinner. And it was going to be one of the biggest for us because we had all these celebrities coming in. We were sold out for weeks. And so I told DeAndre, who at that time was my chief of staff, look, I got breast cancer. So this is what I need y'all to do. And they all looking at me like I'm half crazy because I wasn't tripping. I wasn't upset. I was like, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to do. And they're like, but you just gonna drop that? Did you just drop that and walk away? I was like, because we got time for that. Cancer chose the wrong chick. And so that's the name of the group that I started on Facebook. It's a private group. I think I'm going to open it up because I have a book that's coming out in January called Cancer Chose the Wrong Chick. And it just talks basically about how I didn't have time to stop for cancer. Cancer, to me, was just a journey that I had to face. Because I remember sitting in my doctor's office, Dr. April Speed, and I remember.
I know her.
You know her? See,
Yes.
April's a celebrity child. She's a celebrity, honey. We'll talk about that later. She's also my soror, but she's a celebrity soror.
I know y'all got her, but I'm, over here, but y'all could be over there.
Yeah,
but it's all love.
She did that.
You still my soror. Oh,
Yeah, see, that's cute. See, she know how to get it in because
I cleaned it up.
We mess with each other all the time, and people think we're serious, but trust me, the love between our sororities is real. Yes, and we may joke with each other, but we would straight cut you. You yes, try to mess with any of us. So
yes,
the D9 love is real. So real. Okay, so anyway, April Speed was sitting there, and she's like, I want to sit you down and tell you something. And I'm looking at her like, she must be about to tell me I have cancer. So she's like, do you have anyone with you? I said, me, myself, and I. Girl, I got to get back to the Capitol. What is it? She's like, well, I want to let you know you have cancer. And I just been silent for about a good 20 seconds. It had to be 20 seconds. And then she finally said, are you okay? Do I need to call someone? I said, girl, I already done called Dr. Jesus. When you was talking to me, I had already played it out in my mind. I was like, and it was already over. I said, now let me ask you something. Can you treat it? She said, I can treat it. She said, I said, we're going to treat it, beat it, and then move on. And that's what we did. And that's her saying that she uses anyway, is treat it, beat it, and move on. And so that was my philosophy. I had already knew I was healed. She told me, I processed it. Said, okay, didn't cry, left, got in my car, called my husband, told him I had breast cancer. I'm going to tell the children eventually. And I went on back to the Capitol. And I think when I talked to him, I had a few tears. And that was the last time I cried, period, from that moment till never. I never cried about it again. I was done with it. I was done with the whole thing.
Okay, well, my story was so much more dramatic. I feel so bad after hearing yours because I had a whole full on. I fell out. I cried a whole bunch. I was like, so, but I applaud you. That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
But you know what? Everyone's not gonna be like me because I'm not okay. I cry if I see something on TV that has absolutely nothing to do with me and I don't even know the people and I gotta have tissue to watch movies. But when it comes to me, for whatever reason, I'm just like, okay, whatever's going on, I'd be like, girl, you ain't got to, okay, get your mind right. You got to focus. And so for me, I didn't have time to stress out because I had the Black caucus to deal with. I had 4 kids, I had 2 grandkids.
You got a husband,
I had a lot going on. So I was like,
yeah, I get it. How old were you?
I was 45. I was almost 45. So see, I wasn't even where they were saying that you had to have it every month because every year, they go back and forth with that whole entire yearly mammogram versus, prior to being 45. They were like,
your family history?
No, my mother did not have it. And shout out to my mom because I know she watching. I can't tell if she is, but she usually watches me on everything. So hey, mommy.
Hey,
so no, my mom take it up. So no, she didn't have it. Her sisters, but my great grandmother, all of her sisters, every last one had breast cancer.
So it was in your family history. It was in your family
history. And it skipped 2 generations
and came to you.
And came to me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about your story.
Me? Well, so here's when I was diagnosed, I was working at WSB at the time. I had, I usually use exfoliating gloves to wash my body so I can feel my body. And I happened to be, washing my breast and I felt this little lump and my mind immediately did not go to breast cancer because it was not in my family history. I was 35 years old at the time. And, I ate right. I did if you check the boxes of all the things that you're supposed to do right, that was me. So I went to a doctor, and it's funny how God aligns everything for you because I had already gone to the doctor, but I was at V103, a radio station here, and I was filling in for somebody doing the news. And at that time, the woman who would ultimately become my breast surgeon was there talking about breast cancer awareness. And it was a 20-year-old, it was a 30-something-year-old, and it was an older woman, all talking about their breast cancer journeys, all African-American women. So I listened to everything that they had to say. After the show was over, I let them know, hey, I found something and, hopefully it's not cancer, but, it was really good to hear this information. Then fast forward, maybe another weekend, I go and I am the MC. Diane Carroll, the late, great Diane Carroll, was going to be the speaker. She was talking about her breast cancer journey. And at the time, I still didn't know that I was diagnosed. So speed it up to I'm at WSB. I'm in a live truck. I'm about to go live in about an hour and some change. The doctor calls me on the phone, lets me know I have infiltrating ductal carcinoma. I was like, what is that? He was like, you have breast cancer. And literally, I just kind of hung up the phone. And because I was in news mode, I was like, okay, let me just, finish doing my story. And I called my managing editor because I knew at the time, for whatever reason, I couldn't voice track the story that I was about to do. And so as I'm calling my managing editor and I'm telling him I can't voice track this story, but I've written it. And he was like, why? And I just start screaming, I have breast cancer. And I'm looking at the keypad. There's water all over my keypad. Like I had a full on meltdown. And my photographer comes back. We rush back to the station. I go into the bathroom. I'm sobbing. Jovita comes in the bathroom. I scream it to her. She's sobbing. And it was a mess. And I literally went home because for me, when I heard you have breast cancer, I heard you have breast cancer, you're going to die. Even though the doctor did not say the you're going to die part, that's what I thought. Because I'm like, how in the world did this happen to me? So in that moment, I'm the kind of person, because I'm very dramatic, I have to have these fall down moments and then pull myself together. So I wish I could be like my sister D and be like, I just was focused, but it hit me like I was moving, but it was almost like I stopped moving and it just like a Mack truck hit me and I couldn't hold my emotion. I couldn't pull it together. And so the journey began. But what I will say, it has been the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I am so intentional about what I will and will not do.
Say it again.
People I will and will not allow in my house.
One more time.
If you break up my peace, or if there's anything about you that feels like negativity or some foolishness, I cannot. And I guard my ear and eye gates religiously. And I live on purpose. I take every day, and whatever it is I want to do, if I do a speaking event or what, like even doing this, I'm doing this because I wanted to do it. There's a time before I might do it and may be mad because I said I was going to do it. Now I know how to say no. I'm doing things that I want to do in decency and in order, but it's what I want to do.
Sidebar. Thank you for saying yes. Let me start by saying that. Thank you.
You done preached.
But you both you and D said something that was crucial, and I think it speaks to the strength of a Black woman.
Yes.
Because of the fact that D said when she got it, she said, "Okay, can I hurry up? Because I got to get back to the Capitol." And you said, when you found out, you were in reporter mode.
Yep.
You couldn't leave that mode. You had to go in reporter mode. And the one thing I've seen in Black women and the strength of Black men, and this is nothing against any woman of color, any person who's watching this, but because I know Black women, I'm gonna speak specifically about Black women, and I got them on here. But the one thing I know specifically about the strength of a Black woman is Black women in particular cannot be conformed with everything that's going on, because there's a lot of people depending upon the strength of that Black woman. And again, I was I was there when D came back and I was good. Yeah. By the way, I got cancer. I'll tell y'all about it when I come back from the chamber. I didn't quite know. So mind you, I'm now sitting with this for the next 2 hours, trying to figure out. So when she comes back to the office, I'm like, so do you want to have the conversation? Oh, like I said, I got cancer. This is what it is. We're gonna get it. So we got this to do. Don't forget, we got kids coming on Thursday. You gotta get ready this Monday, my birthday on. So I was thrown. But I then had the privilege and honor on my birthday to actually go with her to go do another checkup. Remember we went it was on my birthday, or you went to the hospital that day.
What'd I do?
And you did a
What I do?
Yeah, you did the news report.
Oh, but they followed me. Okay, so at the end, they followed me to radiation. I know what it was, because I was talking about cannabis and talking about the healing properties of cannabis, and I took them with me to one of my radiation treatments and let them go in the room and see what it was going to be like. But let me tell you something. I am a proponent of cannabis. Now, listen, I didn't even smoke weed in high school. See, my mom would be proud to know that, but I really did not smoke weed in high school. Now, well, I did try it once, but I didn't smoke it. I didn't smoke it in high school, and I didn't smoke it in college. Now, but once I got cancer, my son, who indulges, and ain't nothing wrong with him medically, maybe mentally, but not physically. And he was
on this here live.
I mean, I'm just saying, he's my firstborn. He's like,
Lord Jesus.
He was like, you really need to try this cannabis, because all that pain medicine may not be good for you. And so I had been a proponent. If you remember, I had just started working on that legislation for Haley's Hope and didn't even know I was going to get cancer. So that's what I'm saying, how things just work itself out. And so I was like, I don't really want to be loopy and be going to the Capitol or being loopy after I do stuff. And so he was like, just drink a little bit of lemonade or eat a little bit of edible, because I know you're not going to smoke, Mama. And I said, correct. And when I started doing it, I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, is this what it was really like? But maybe I should have been doing something different the entire time. But anyway, all just aside, it kept me.
Again, I told you all on the live, please forgive us in advance for our foolishness because again,
But I'm just saying,
this
it
is
will
like
help you. It
say
will really help you. And now I'm glad, not just the children that had, all these other conditions. It really, I see why we added cancer and HIV/AIDS and lupus. That stuff is real. I'm telling you, we need to get it out to people more often because a lot of people, what they need is cannabis. They need some edibles in their life, and then they might mellow out. Because my kids even said I became a nicer, calmer person when I had my medicine. I'm trying to figure out
Your medication.
but yes, and when I tell you, I never forget spending my birthday. Again, I don't understand my birthday with her at the hospital. I don't even understand that, and I will agree, yes. And I'm also preaching because she also, it was kind of a twofold. So in 2015, I went with her through her cancer battle with cancer, but then in 2017, I got it again, and then she had to do it for me, and we had to walk it through again. So
how'd you find out that you had cancer?
So the first time, I was in college. So the first time I was in college, I was a sophomore at Morehouse College.
How old were you?
I was 19.
Wow.
I was 19 years old, and I only found out because of the fact I kept feeling these pains in my sides, and so I was just it was like near my stomach. I was like, I don't know what that problem is, and not to be too graphic, but I started seeing some other things happen, and
Like
some things exiting my body, blood and some other items exiting my body.
Okay.
And so I was concerned, nervous. I didn't quite know what to do. And so I went and actually, I went to, at the time, it was Crawford Long. And so went to Crawford Long and went in and I was telling them the problem. So they immediately went and did a colonoscopy. Immediately the colonoscopy, and they realized and saw that there was a tumor the size of a grapefruit.
Oh Lord!
And they said we have to do something because this actually can harm you. It can really harm you. So I remember having to take time off of school because I could not actually do that. And I got to do this shout out to Dr. David Morrow and Dr. Uzi Brown over the music department at Morehouse College, because those two individuals, those two men in particular, were the saving grace for me while going through my battle. Dr. Brown used to always come. He used to come up there often to the hospital to make sure and check and make sure I was well. And just having prayer warriors in your life to make sure that they are keeping you grounded and making sure keeping you sane. Because like you, Jaquetta, I was the first time that was me. I was all over the place. I didn't fell out, about the dog near cry. I didn't heard everything else because I'm dramatic.
Yes. Sometimes you need that. There's nothing wrong. Here's the thing that I think cancer has taught me. And if anybody is watching this, and if you are concerned that you have had a negative report, or maybe it doesn't turn out to be cancer, nobody has the right to tell you how to feel or how to react. There is no correct or wrong way to react. You react however you need to react. The only thing that I will say is, if you do fall out, you cannot stay there. If you do fall down, you cannot stay there because you've got work to do. So you can have your pity party. Do that. And then once that's over, pick up everything, put it in the trash, and have a plan and move forward, because you got a fight that you need to be strong for.
You better talk to these people.
Well, it's the truth.
It
is the truth. It really is the truth.
It is the truth.
And one of the things that and I actually the second time I actually ended up getting it, it was actually that was the worst one. That was the one my mom had to actually that was the hardest thing to do, is actually have to then tell my mother.
How many years between 19 and the
it time? Was roughly about it was about 8
years.
8 years.
Wow.
But it was through complication from the first one. Because of the fact what they did was they just clamped the colon. The clamp that they actually had broke. And so it started seeping into my bloodstream. And it caused another tumor, but this time it actually was worse. This time it got really, really bad. I got down to 88 pounds. I lost all my hair for the most part. I got really weak. And I tell you all, it's a very humbling experience because I had to go to a point where, as a man, I was used to, again, this talks again about the strength of Black women, because I saw my mother shift. Like, she shifted and she went into, all right, I got it. I cried out, I do everything else, but now I got to shift. And she shifted. And, I really saw, her strength in my weakness. I saw, her forget, I was a man for a minute, and she was reminded like my child. And so to see her strength in this process and have to tell her and actually go through that process was very humbling. And again, not being able to wash yourself anymore. And not
Chadwick Boseman's story, was that a trigger for you?
It was, I think only because the third times, because of the fact that it was his story and another person's story. His story was a trigger, and my pastor's father's story was a trigger, because they both had the same. My pastor's father just passed away in June, and Chadwick Boseman just passed away. And I also had a coworker when I worked at a adult-based education program. He passed away from the same thing, and so I had quite a few of these men around me who have all transitioned from the same thing. And I kept asking God, well, why did I get spared?
Because you got something else to do, baby.
You got work to do.
You got something else to do, baby. It ain't your time.
That's the thing I kept saying. I said, you know what? Somebody has to tell the story.
Because here's the thing too, and let's be, D, and I know you feel, here's the thing that I have learned about cancer or about whatever. We are all going to die. Mm-hmm. Let's be very clear. So whether it's cancer, colon, you're in a car accident, whatever it is, we can't stay here for forever. So in the time that you are here, you better be about the business of figuring out why it is you're here. And then once you know what that is, you better run with it until God calls you home. Mm-hmm. Period.
Another sermon. Look, she's acting like the preacher. Period. And look, her journalism is kicking in because she's interviewing you.
She went straight in.
I love it. I love it. And I'm sitting here like,
I said, okay.
I'm like, this is beautiful. I
was like, yes. I'm like, oh, excuse me. I'm being interviewed by, like, this is exciting. I'm like,
I'm done.
No, please.
Get my chair.
No, because of the fact that, this is why I love, because again, these are, people need to hear these stories. And I think people need to also hear them coming from real people. So often we get all these sugar-coated, we get all these watered down, story or conversation, but sometimes people have to hear the real, like, listen, it wasn't all hunky-dory, it wasn't all exciting. I love the fact that, Jaquetta said, listen, I cried, I hollered, I fell out on the floor, I was done. I appreciate that, because it shows authenticity. And D was like, listen, I ain't got time for it. I
don't have time for much though. Like, I can't say the word I want to say, but I don't have time for
Look at you done already talked about the benefits of talking about living on campus. You might as well just say what you want to say, friend.
I was about to say, but I don't have, me, PickEd. I don't have the luxury to deal with bullshit. And to me, cancer is bullshit. And I ain't have time for it. I was like, okay, you play too much, cancer. And so I got to go on and do what I got to do, because you're trying to mess with my mind, and I can't play with you right now because I got work to do now. But I'm a drama queen too now. So it just shows up in a different kind of way depending on what day you catch me on and how you catch me. So I love all of my drama. See, that's what people don't realize. To be a drama queen is a beautiful thing. Because people say, D, you're such a drama queen. I'm like, oh, I sure am. Don't you just love it? I do. This is what I tell people. I do. And it doesn't even make me feel bad. I love my drama. And got my granddaughter acting just like me. And they're like, see, she's already a drama queen. And I give her a high five. That's right, baby. It's okay. Be great. Be fabulous.
And here's something that I will say too. I never really, up until because I had 4 rounds of chemo and then several weeks of radiation. And one of the things that I used to I never really understood people who contemplated and people who went through with committing suicide. I never got that. However, there were so many little lessons that cancer taught me along the way. And it was my third treatment. I was bald. I was 35 pounds overweight. And I literally will say I was exhausted from fighting it. So I got to the point, it was 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. My mom was in my guest room. I was in my bathroom. And I just lay down on the floor and I was like, God, look, I know you are the creator of everything, but I am telling you in this moment, I am exhausted from this battle. I am tired of fighting it. I'm tired of being strong for people who are going to watch me because I told my story on WSB. So I was tired from that. I was just tired. And I was like, I'm not married. I have a dog. I love my mother. But if I could just leave right now, that would be really helpful to me because I'm tired. So I literally laid out in the middle of my bathroom floor in a cross shape that I was like, come on, Holy Spirit, I'm ready. And baby, when I tell you I laid and laid and laid and laid there, and as I laid there, I got angrier because I was just like, man, he will not take me. So I got up, I washed my face, I put a face full of makeup on, I threw my wig on, I pranced around the bathroom. And in that moment, I realized I am here for a purpose. He's not going to take me before he's ready to. So let me get over myself. Let me pull myself together and let me, get out there and do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing here. So it is amazing to be on this platform with three of us in total, but two who also had to fight such an amazing fight. And we are still here. And then I also realized God's grace is amazing.
It is.
When you really realize like he is using you to show people this is how I healed her. And this is how she's moving forward. There's no better example or show to his people about what he can do.
Yes. And that's man, I said, y'all, you are here dropping these nuggets. And I hope that you all are paying attention. You have Jaquetta Williams, you have D. Dawkins Hagler, who are on this live today. We're going to take a quick break. You see that Warrior shirt she's wearing? We're going to talk about that in 2 seconds, but you're going to see a quick video to tell you about what it is. And then she's going to come back and tell you again, this is PickEd Speaks, where Black excellence speaks for herself. We'll be right back. PickEd Speaks will be right back. So you saw the Warrior, the Warrior Army. You saw the team. Can you tell us a little bit about this team, what they are, who they are, and what they're about?
Well, here's the thing. This was a passion project for me. It started out of the breast cancer fight because I literally felt like I was a soldier. I was a warrior fighting for my life. I felt like God wanted me. I felt like the devil wanted me too. And I really, really felt like I was fighting for my life. So I thought, you know what? It's going to war. But what I wanted people to understand that there are times, even as a warrior, as a soldier, as a strong woman, man, whatever, there are times that you don't feel strong. So I knew I needed a reminder that even if I didn't feel it in that moment, if I looked down at my chest and I had to remind myself, Jaquetta, you are a warrior. D, you, like, whoever, you're a warrior. So I this is the breast cancer edition because it's got the crown here and it's got a crown right there. So those for the two boobies. But then we have it in the white edition as well because we want men to wear it, women to wear it. And here's the thing. Cancer may not be your battle that you're fighting. It might be COVID. It might be domestic violence. It might be, whatever. Fill in the blank of whatever it is. You feel like you are fighting battle because in life, that's what life is. You're coming out of one, you're going into one, but there's always something that we have to fight. So I wanted people to know that they are strong, they are soldiers, and they are warriors. So that's what my passion project is about.
And how can people actually get access to the shirts?
Sure, it's a social media, just a small little thing. So whenever anybody, if you're following me on Facebook, which is Jaquetta Williams, or Instagram, which is Jaquetta W, then just hit me up. Let me know if you want a shirt. They're $20. I take on shipping and handling, and I send them directly to you. They usually get there really, really quickly. And that's it. We take Cash App, we take Venmo, we take what else? PayPal, and that's it.
I love this. I'm getting my shirt. I'm getting my shirt.
I got you, Mama, and I got you too, son. You like to call me Auntie. I got you, nephew. I got you, nephew.
It's coming, and we're gonna make sure that we rock it. We're gonna join the army. We're gonna make sure that we have it. Because of the fact that you were in the legislature and you were and you didn't just fight again. You were on the streets, and when people were not as heavily talking about HIV/AIDS, when people aren't fully talking about cancers, when people weren't talking about all the other ailments, and people weren't looking at legislation, and you were the one when you were in Black Caucus chair, making sure you were bringing forth different initiatives and different hearings. What would you say to the legislators now that are under the Gold Dome as we continue to hear about this healthcare, of people not having healthcare and making it sometimes hard for individuals to get checked on? What would you say to those lawmakers and to those two voters, since we're in voting?
Vote.
Right, vote.
That's number one.
Early. Now. Sorry.
In a hurry, because we got to get that abomination out the White House, because it's an abomination. It's not God.
This devil and just Beelzebub. Go, friend.
Yeah. So this is what I would say. So
she did call the devil by its name.
That's what he is.
Yes, she did. She did call it by his name. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What else can you call him? Ooh. Demonic spirit. Oh God.
Oh girl, yes.
He's calling him a bunch of things. Fallen angel. He's just a demon.
Yes.
Okay.
God.
Shepherd for the devil.
And this is real. I really believe he's ushered in the Antichrist. And I'm not saying it to be funny. I really, God honest knows, I really believe that. But so those shirts that she has on, that speaks to what I would tell legislators. You have to be warriors, because God does not call us to be coward soldiers. And you've got to war your way through whatever it is, even being in elected office, because it is not for the faint at heart. It is not for the weak. And you have to have a courageous spirit to be able to go to the Gold Dome. And then when you don't have one, it shows up, and we know you don't, because we know imposters when we see them. And we also know people who will go along to get along. So you've got to be a warrior. You are there for such a time as this. And this is not the time to be playing around. We are literally at war. Now, some of us don't want to say we're at war, but baby, we are at war. And when you're at war, God needs real soldiers on the battlefield.
Yes.
So that's why each one of us was chosen to carry cancer in whatever form it was, whether it was colon or breast cancer, because God needed his best or her best, whichever way you want to call God, he or she. But God needed God's best people to be messengers, the carriers of the word, to be remnants of who his people called people are. Because a weak person would go around saying, "Oh, woe is me, I'm just," and they would continue in that, and they would not be a good representation of God's glory, God's healing, God's purpose, God's reign supreme on this earth. But we are. So I always tell everybody, go to the polls, Vote. Don't play with this thing. If you think somebody's not going to vote or vote right, get an absentee ballot for them. Now, that's not, so I'm not telling you to do that. But let me back up because I don't want anybody to go to jail. Okay. Just because you feel like you have a son or a daughter or a cousin or a friend who might not vote, it may be somebody that you know who may order an absentee ballot for them. I'm not telling you to do that because if you do it yourself, it's illegal. But if you know someone who knows them, they may be able to order it for them.
Nephew, this what you used to deal with, nephew.
All the time. All day.
Nephew.
And still do. And still do. And still do. And still do.
Here's what I say about the political structure that we're in. I really do believe Obama was the best of who America or who we hoped we could be. And we lived in that for 8 years. And I feel like this administration is the ugliest part of who we are as a people, Black, white, I don't care who you are. It is just a full embodiment of the worst. And I part of me feels like his representation has brought about unity in, people of color, where I think it has been disjointed. Because I think we have to band together. It's almost like there is this big supreme thing, because sometimes I turn on the television and I am stunned by what I see, and the ugliness in people, and it saddens me to my deepest core. So vote, people.
Vote, and in
Please,
a hurry.
Vote.
And so since we went there, I'm gonna stay there for a second. Because D, you just alluded to it. There's so many right now, because we're now into the second week of early voting, and we've been told that we're breaking records left and right, and we are really pushing. People are standing in lines, and shout out to again all those who have gone to vote. We are still on the precipice of dealing with individuals who still aren't so quote unquote sure about who to vote for, or you have young people who are still.
How would they not know?
Why? 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 I'm confused about why are you confused? What are you confused by? Here's the thing. I think people are not that dumb. I think people who feel alliance to the current administration, I don't care what they do or say, that is who they feel aligned to. And people who want something different want something different. The people who are quote unquote in the middle, I think that's just, I don't believe there are people in the middle. How can you be in the middle? There is no middle. There is no middle. You either are over here or are you over here? There is no middle. There is no middle. And I wish, and then here's the thing I get so tired of too, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I get so tired of legislators when you ask them a pointed question, they go all the way around it. There is no answer, but they answer it without answering it, and you're supposed to believe like you just answered. You did not answer the question, which means you've answered the question. You know who they align with. So basically, you're saying you're willing to let the whole country fall apart to be aligned with a demonic spirit and force. That's what you're saying.
That's what they're saying.
That's what you're saying. And here's the thing. I'm okay with that. Call a thing a thing. Call a thing a thing. I'm okay with that. I would respect you more if you called a thing a thing. Rather than tiptoeing and dancing around when you got somebody talking about stand back and stand by. You know what that means. I don't need you to tell me what that means. I know what that means. I'm clear. We're clear. So people, we need to vote. I voted last week. I voted Tuesday, the day after the Monday, because I was like, okay, let me and I was willing to stand there all day if need be, because it's that serious. We cannot, we can't live like this. We can't live
Yeah.
like this.
And I know what he's talking about. It's a lot of young black men, more men between 18 and 45, who are saying they're going to vote for Trump. They're just saying it. And I'm
But
like,
why?
why? And I say, why would you do that? And I think that what has happened is the Russian bots and all of this, they've been targeted on social media. And we don't even get it in our social media. I've learned that black women in general, we haven't received those negative ads like that.
Mm-mm.
But people my youngest son age from 19 up to 45, those black men are getting these things in their algorithms, and I don't know what's happening. It happened with Hillary Clinton's election, and it's happening now. The Russian bot, that stuff is real, and we don't believe it's real, and these fake stories that they're getting. But that's why black women, of course, we got to always save the world. Then when our children hear it, our sons, our brothers, our cousins, then we got to go cuss them out and say, don't play. Why would you want to vote for Trump? Then we got to get them right. And
But
carry,
this is what I will say as a black woman too. And don't get me wrong, I love being one. Thank God I wouldn't change anything about what you see. But I will say this. I do believe we represent, we are the supreme being, because we couldn't be. All of the things that we have to weigh on our shoulders when it comes to black men, when it comes to the world, when it comes to whatever. But I will say I am exhausted sometimes from being, we got to be the strong ones. We've got to be the leaders. We've got to basically direct our men, even the men that you're talking about, that age group. We've got to be the force to direct them in the right path. That is exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's almost like black women are deemed like we're superheroes. And that's a beautiful compliment, but we are human as well. And I get tired. I'm sure you do too. So it is time. I don't ever want to not be the warrior that I am, but I also need for us, other people of color, our young men, our Latinos, like pick up the cross and do something. Do something. Because this right here, we can't do this for 4 more years. We can't do this for 4 more years.
We've done it for 400 because we had to nurse their babies too, and sleep with their husbands and everything else, and keep their house. So I'm just saying, we've been doing it forever, and we need a break.
We do, and I just feel like we are better than what we are right now. And I don't know what this season is. I don't know what God is doing in the earth, but I know it's something. But I know one thing: it has got to change. It's got to change.
Well, I think we have evoked the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer and Harry Tubman into this atmosphere. So, because, but again, what you speak, and it's even hard because of the fact that, being, under 40, but getting closer to it, it's interesting because when we talk about this millennial thing and we talk about millennials, how they vote, it's sometimes hard when they say, well, millennials only do this way. I guess I'm on the other end of the millennium spectrum, because half the way that my millennial crew think, I don't think. Because as you said, there's absolutely no way possible you can actually see what's going on. You can actually see the rhetoric. And I've had conversations, I've had uncomfortable conversations with individuals who, just because, they'll say, because, we've had the conversation about, we continuously hear this rhetoric about, Joe Biden and who he was. And of course, excuse me, Kamala Harris and her record in California, everyone is quick to do that. Unfortunately, that has continues to become the conversation piece.
But people can't understand the current administration. We've had more than 200,000 people who've died. That gets lost. And the current administration, you want to talk about somebody's record, but what's happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right now. And here's the thing. I am okay with whatever you decide to do. That's what you want to do. Because we all have the ability to vote however we want to. But just when people try to talk about Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or this current administration, there's not all good in everybody and there's not all bad. So I'm like, what's the worst of the two evils that I can select that's going to do the best for people who look like me and just for the country in general? And to me, it's a no-brainer. Because if you've got more than 200,000 people who have died on your watch, and you're trying to act like even though you've gotten this certain COVID you've gotten COVID. You've got the best medical care that you could possibly get. Now you're back out, and there's nothing that you've learned from that. There's nothing that you've learned from that. And you're trying to make it seem like it's not a real thing. I am sorry. That is so irresponsible. And it's in part more than half of the reason why those more than 200 people have died, in my opinion.
It is.
When it did not have to be. And you heard him clearly say he knew what was possible. But then you get in front of people and try to act like, oh, it'll just go away. It's just going to go away. But yet and still the numbers are upticking. So we have just got, and then here's the other thing too. And I'm going to get off my soapbox because I can't even believe that I'm going here. But people are trying to be like, well, I want to get back to normal. But here's the thing. The way we used to live, it's over. There's going to be a new normal of how we need to move. People need to get adjusted to that. The old way is gone. How we used to live, that's gone. Mm. So this is a readjust. This is a realignment. This is a reset. And we've got to get people who are realizing that we need to reset. We need to get a handle on this thing so that we can go back outside. Because I'm at a point now where if somebody is on the same side of the street as me, baby, I'm across the street. And that's never been my way of living, but it is now. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, DeAndre.
I'm not that bad because I just came back from Cancun on Friday. But here's
the thing: the reason why I'm that way is because I do have a pre-existing condition. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too: Herman Cain had a pre-existing condition. And do you realize how when that brother died, they didn't say or do nothing for him?
They did nothing for him.
They did nothing for him. Nothing. Okay.
Didn't even bring up his name at the convention.
Who?
They did not.
They never heard his name.
Like Mariah, I don't know him. So let's be clear.
But they're doing better in other countries. Like if I had the wherewithal to pick up my whole entire family and move them to Mexico right now or to Jamaica, the islands, or Africa, I would, because they are taking it serious. And so I felt safer, and that's a shame, in my body and my person in another country than I did here in America. That speaks to where we are. And we're supposed to be the leader of the free world. But if you notice, it is the United States, the UK, and France with all this crap. And those are the ones who consider themselves the superpower. They consider themselves the most educated, the most, cultured.
Elitist.
European. Mm-hmm. Those elitist Europeans are the ones who killing everybody and getting all this doggone COVID because they think their white privilege is going to save them and everybody else from getting the disease. But white supremacy cannot save them from dying unless you're the president and you have all of the medical resources at your hand that everyone else will not have. Everybody can't go to Walter Reed.
You know what I think this has also taught us too? I think that this time in America, I think as African, well, I'm not going to speak for you or anybody. I'm going to speak for me. As an African-American woman, I think that we thought that we were much farther along in our thought process, in equality, and we didn't feel like, yes, I always knew racism was there, but this experience has taught me it is no different from than in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s. There is no difference. There may be some changes and tweaks in how we as African American are able to live and function, but by and large, the main message is still the main message. That's what this has taught me. It's the main message.
And
go, DeAndre.
No, I'm saying I think that he's a go. And I think unfortunately this world has made it easy. We've seen foolish times, and I think it's been so foolish that it's made it so easy for us to see things like a black man jump in a crowd of a whole bunch of white people at a Trump rally.
Did you see that foolishness? Did you see that foolishness? You know what? I'm okay.
I'm ashamed. I just had to put my head down. I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Like grandma would them say, I'm ashamed.
They can have him. They can have him. They can have him. Go ahead.
Just shamed. But I don't even want to end. Listen, I love these two ladies. I don't even want to end with
mouth all open.
Right. And they all, he gonna be like Herman Cain. In a minute.
Okay. See, I was trying not to see. And they ain't gonna say nothing about him either.
Right.
So go
Okay.
ahead.
Because they didn't like him before. And so, yeah, I'm hush.
You like it, I love it.
This is like having like two aunties sitting on the porch.
It's like Patti LaBelle and
Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight when they were doing that. I'm just saying.
This is like having two aunties on the porch having a conversation and forgetting there's a camera on and just having the conversation with themselves. And I love it, but it's been, and I don't want it to end. But you know, we
all
try to
things come to you. Well,
try to keep our shows where we try to make sure that we don't hold you all too long. But I've had listen, y'all don't understand how much fun I've had. Y'all don't even understand what this meant for me, because first and foremost, I have tried all season long. I'm gonna be very clear, and that's why she's laughing, because she knows what I'm about to say. I have tried all season long to get that heifer over there.
That one right there.
On this live. I've tried all season long, and I finally got her.
He called me a heifer in front of everybody.
And I finally got her on here. And so I'm grateful for that. And, you know, I've had quite a few people, and I'm going to say this, and I know I'll say this on the last episode, but you all don't understand how much of a blessing that this experience has been, to have the people who have just said, listen, I love what you're doing. I love to be a part of what you're doing, and I want to be a part. And we've had people, again, from Benjamin Patterson, from Greenleaf, to West Bellamy out in Charlottesville, to, just people who just come on and just saying, listen, I want to be a part. And I'm so grateful. And I'm so excited, even to these beautiful ladies who have said, listen, I will do it. Just let me know what you need from me, and just make sure it ain't crazy. And I'll do it. As long as it ain't crazy, I'll do it. And I didn't have to. And listen, this is the other thing. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this too. I did not have to hunt these women down, not one time. Once they said it was going to do it, they did it. People in this season, I ask you to be a man and woman of your word. Just do what you want to do. In this season, and I don't know where that's coming from. I guess I just meant to say it. In this season, we're just asking you, do what, you ain't that grand and that extra that you can't, not take a moment and take a human word and not do. Listen, this woman has interviewed everybody. You hear me? Everybody. And she on little old me. D. Dawkins Hagler has met with kings and queens of countries and all over the world, and she's here with little old me. And so I said, but
it's not little old you.
I was sell myself short, because we forget who I am.
It's not
you better
you.
Talk about who you are.
Thank you.
I said, let's forget. I am, greatness in here too.
That's right.
But I say that to say that I am grateful to each and every person who continues to connect with me and do the work that I do. And I'm so grateful that we create these platforms to continue to support us. We create these platforms. I don't want anybody to think that we support us, and we do it well. And so with that, please make sure that you're following us on our social media at PickEd Speaks Live on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. So if you're watching us via YouTube, thank you so much. For those who are watching by replay, thank you so much, because we do show this a couple of times after this. Remember, November 2nd will be the final episode for this particular season of PickEd Speaks, and then we'll join you again in January. I want to leave you with this, because of the fact that we've had fun and we've laughed and we've joked, but I want to leave you with this. Each and every one of us who is on this screen right here, right now, have been who are overcomers. We are warriors. We are fighters. We are here because of our faith. We are here because of someone prayed for us, and we had enough sense to fall on our face at times and say, Lord, this ain't it. I know there's something more for me out here. And that's the reason why we're here. And that's the reason why we're continuously doing the work that we're doing. I want to encourage each and every person who is on this live now watching, as each of them have said, your situation may not be breast cancer. Your situation may not be colon cancer. Your situation may be depression. Your situation may be anxiety. Your situation may be whatever case may be. We want you to know you can overcome it. You can beat it. God still has you here for a specific reason.
That's right.
I currently have connected to this, the American Cancer Society. I have it connected. Please donate to an organization that's actually fighting and continuously find a way to go and volunteer. We want to make sure that people are becoming more aware about this thing that is, again, that's taking us, but at the same time, it's also providing us room for our testimony.
And don't forget to check your breast, men and women. It's very simple. Feel your body.
And look at that warrior shirt. Look at her just feeling all over herself.
This is how you do it. And let's just say if you're a young lady, you got a boyfriend, you don't want to do it. It could be something fun for you as a couple. Feel your body. You should know what it feels like. And if something feels off or feels weird, it may not necessarily mean it's cancer, but don't wait, because here's the thing I know about people who are African American or people of color. We don't want to know. We'd rather have something and just hope it'll go away. No. Because here's the thing. I'm sure the thing between D and I, had we just waited, it could make the difference between us not being here and us being here. We have the capacity to live. We have the capacity to beat this thing. So just because you're diagnosed with breast cancer or whatever kind of cancer does not mean you're not going to win. You've got 3 people that you're looking at right now who have got the diagnosis and who survived. So take charge of your health, know your body, and men and women, because men get breast cancer too. Check your breasts.
Yes.
And I like that shirt. And look how you do it. I like the way you're doing it. I like it. I love it. I love it. And I want my shirt. And see, when you're a breast cancer survivor, you can say, I want my shirt. And people always ask me, do this happen to you, Jaquetta? They say, D, why are you always touching yourself like this? I said, because they're here and they're mine. And I just
thank God for them. Girl, let me tell you something. When I first got through all of it, and when I tell you, I would pop my breast out for my girlfriends, and they were just to the point, they were like, Jaquetta, we're tired of seeing your breast. Don't pop your titties out no more, because we don't want to see your breast. But I was like, well, this is where it was, and look how good the surgeon was, and the color is back the way.
Right, that's what we don't understand. We be like, ooh,
you just be grateful to have them, because I've met women who in support groups who didn't have anything. So it made me less likely to be complaining about what I was going through, because I still had them, praise God. So I can't believe I'm acting like this. D, you got me. You know what?
We got something to be proud about. We got something, we got some bragging. We got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Right here.
And if this wasn't a family show, I might. You know what? Never mind. But D, I'm gonna get you your shirt.
I appreciate your shirt. I appreciate that. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna rock it, and I'm gonna pass it on. The link to everybody to go to your website and get this doggone shirt. Your website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are.
Yes, God.
Y'all support Jaquetta Williams with this warrior. Look, isn't that shirt just lovely?
She said she needed a medium. I was like,
I did just like that too. I said I need a medium. And then she let me know she needed a large. She tried to burst my bubble. You see, she needed a large while I need a medium, but that's okay. I got money. I might go get me a large.
Just cutting up tonight.
Okay. It makes it hard to do the next thing I'm about to do. Anyway.
Go on, do it, nephew.
Yeah. I say this to say, God bless you, God. Keep is my prayer. I want to end it by giving you the song that got me through, that helped me. There was a song that was done by a gentleman who he did it, but I found the video of another person doing it. And so I'm going to have him do it. I'm going to end it this way. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to leave us with Marvin L. Winans simply saying, I'm still here. And so God bless you, God. Keep is my prayer. Until we meet again, this is PickEd Speaks, where Black excellence speaks for itself.
Thank you. And you should have sung it instead of playing it. Why you had to play it? You should have been singing it.
I was like, is he going?
I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to play it. So I'm going live.
Play too much.
Good night.
And I think this song is going to speak to those of you that are going through. Here I am. I'm still standing. Here I am, after After all I've been through, I survived every toil, every snare. I'm alive, I'm alive, here I am. There were times when I almost gave up, and I've cried and said, Lord, oh, that's too much. El Shaddai, you were there all the time, and by your grace, it's keeping me alive. By his grace and mercy, I'm still standing. I'm standing here in the presence of Almighty God with power and a testimony. I'm standing here today with one thing to say, Lord, I thank you. And it's by your grace and mercy I'm still standing. Oh, here I am. I'm still standing. Oh, here I am. After all I've been through, I survived every toil, every snare. I'm alive. Standing here today in the presence of Almighty God with power. I've got a testimony. Oh, I'm standing here today with but one thing to say. Lord, I thank you, Jesus. Thank you. My soul say yes, 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 yes. Here I am, and it's because of your mercy. Here I am, it's because of your grace. Here I am, and it's because of your goodness. And I say yes, yes, yes. Open your mouth, yes. Tell the Lord yes. Open your heart, yes. Tell the Lord yes. He's been mighty nice to you. He's been mighty kind to you. Why won't you tell him? Why won't you tell him? Yeah. I'm still standing. Here I am. After all I've been through, I survived even COVID-19. I'm alive. I'm alive. Here I am. Hallelujah.
Thank you for watching PickEd Speaks, where Black excellence speaks for itself.